Coming up this week, President Biden gave his 2024 State of the Union address. Didn't see it? We got you covered. We highlight key points that you should find important. Donald Trump warns of a bloodbath if he's not elected president. We'll discuss why this rhetoric is not only concerning, but flat out dangerous. And finally, the NBA playoffs are right around the corner, which got us to thinking, who you got for MVP? We get into all this and more, so please stop what you're doing. You are now tuned in to The Large Picture. Let's go! Peace. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Large Picture with Javon Berry. Please give yourself a round of applause. Yes. As always, if you see the show anywhere on socials, like, share, support. We got some good feedback from the last episode. Thank you all for tuning in to the last one. Thank you for tuning in to this one. So if you, like I said, if you see anything across socials, Facebook, IG, TikTok, Twitter, whatever, X, whatever you want to call it. You see anything, please like, please share, please subscribe. We're trying to grow the audience, grow the base, man. We got a lot of important information that we really need to get out to the people. So, with all that said, let's jump into the first topic. President Biden gave his 2024 State of the Union address. So I'm going to start by saying, for me personally, it was, if not his best speech, I don't know his whole political history back to when he was a senator, one of the best speeches he ever gave, because of what I believe are the stakes for his reelection bid. It's not no smooth sailing. It's a lot of hurdles that's going on, but one of the major ones was, can he lead for another 4 years? Right? Biden came out right away. He was alert. He was energetic. He was direct. And he really, really did something that Democrats, for whatever reason, have been struggling with as of late, which is highlighting their wins, highlighting their achievements, highlighting those net gains, the things that, for lack of a better term, the American people care about. Like, what are you doing for me to make me and my family's life easier? Like, shit is hard, right? So he came out the gate with some of that. So let's listen to President Biden talk about the economy. Oh, wrong one. I'm tripping, man. Getting old. Let's listen to President Biden go in about the economy.
Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years. A record. Unemployment at 50-year lows. A record 16 million Americans are starting small businesses, and each one is a literal act of hope. With historic job growth and small business growth for Black and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America and counting. Where is it written we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? We are, we will. More people have health insurance today. More people have health insurance today than ever before. The racial wealth gap is as small as it's been in 20 years. Wages keep going up. Inflation keeps coming down. Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world and tending lower. The landing is and will be soft. And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American jobs, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right here in America, where they belong.
So I thought it was really smart to come out the gate highlighting your achievements from an economy that was disastrous, right? Coming off COVID, coming off of a lot of missteps of the previous administration. Biden and his administration have done a pretty good job just cleaning up the mess and trying to put us in a better position. So, like I said, 15 million jobs in 3 years, phenomenal. 50-year low unemployment, phenomenal. 16 million small businesses, phenomenal. Job growth for African Americans and Hispanics, phenomenal. 800,000 manufacturing jobs, phenomenal. That's the stuff that you need to highlight to combat the misinformation. It just is. It just is. And like I said, Dems have been struggling with that, and as a consequence of that, kind of turning their base off. So I thought it was really, really smart to talk about the wins of the economy. But, because it's always a but, right? Average Americans are like, yo, you talking about inflation was at 9%, now it's at 3%, which is great. Like you said, out of the world's foremost leading economies, America is number one. That's great, right? Japan, I believe, went to a recession. UK went to a recession. You really don't hear the recession talk anymore. Think about it. Think about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We're going into recession. We're going to crash. This. You really don't hear that, right? Which is phenomenal. This is what you should want, especially if you got your money tied up somewhere or you're investing, whatever. This is what you're looking for. But, because we got to get back to the but, average Americans, right? Regular people. You saying inflation down, but my groceries still high. It's expensive as hell to buy cars. Mostly homes. Homes. Number one wealth builder in this country is getting a house. We'll touch on more of that later. But the number getting homes are incredibly expensive, whether it's the housing price, whether it's the interest rates, incredibly expensive. So if you're going to buy a home right now, let alone going to rent, because we know renting is expensive too, right? But let's just talk about the wealth builder in this country. If you're going to buy a home right now, and he's talking about the economy is this, the economy is that, it really doesn't translate right there, right? What kind of frustrates you as a voter, as a taxpayer? Because you like, man, that's cool, but these houses still skyrocket. I'm trying to buy something for me and my family. What can we do? Listen to the president's response.
I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down, to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years.
So to combat the incredibly crazy home values, rising costs of owning a home, and high interest rates, the Biden administration is proposing $400 a month to as a tax credit for everyday Americans looking to buy their first home, to help with purchasing their first home. So the State of the Union is compact. There's only a certain amount of time. He really didn't get to expound. So I pulled myself from the White House's website, their official press release, to talk more about this. So President Biden is calling on Congress to pass a mortgage relief credit that will provide middle class first-time home buyers with an annual tax credit of $5,000 for 2 years. This is the equivalent of reducing the mortgage rate by more than 1.5 percentage points for 2 years on an average home, and will help more than 3.5 million middle-class families purchase their first home over the next 2 years. So if you are looking to buy a house, if you have just recently bought a house, my wife and I bought our first home a few years ago, you know how important those points, those percentage points on the interest rate, how big of a difference that makes on your monthly payment. They are giving the equivalent of 1.5 percentage points off your mortgage for 2 years. If your mortgage is at a 5% and go to a 3.5, that's a significant drop. Significant drop. Only one thing. Let's expound a bit more. The president is also calling on Congress to provide a 1-year tax credit of up to $10,000 for middle-class families who sell their starter home. So selling your first home to another owner-occupant, not a corporation or anything like that. You're selling your first home to just another person buying a home. They want to provide an additional $10,000 as a tax credit to boost the incentive to go buy homes. We want to give you $10,000. We want to give you $5,000 for 2 years for mortgage assistance. The third and final one that I want to talk on, however, I want a lot of my African American listeners to really pay attention to this one, because I don't know why this isn't being highlighted more. The president continues to call on Congress to provide up to $25,000 in down payment assistance to first-generation home buyers whose families haven't benefited from the generational wealth building associated with home ownership. I'm going to say that one more time. The president continues to call on Congress to provide up to $25,000 in down payment assistance to first-generation home buyers whose families haven't benefited from generational wealth building associated with home ownership. Now, I know for sure that there's a certain demographic in this country who, because of Jim Crow, racism, redlining, could not benefit from wealth building associated with home ownership. Y'all want to take a wild guess about what that demographic is? Black folks. Black folks. This administration is trying to pass home assistance that will widely affect the African American community. Widely help giving you a chance to help build generational wealth. Like I said, the only surefire way, the number one not the only way, but the number one surefire way to build wealth in the United States of America is owning a home. Why? You buy a home, your home increases in value. With that equity, you can take out money to purchase another home. You can take out money to go to college to get a better job. You can consolidate credit card debt. You can do a myriad of things. Build upon your home, increase its value, sell it for more money. There's a lot of possibilities when you own a home for building wealth in this country. It's just designed that way. And because black folks didn't have fair access to it, a lot of us are in dire situations that we wouldn't have been if we had access to land, basically. Or if land wasn't stolen, basically. So I know this isn't worded sexy as the Black People Benefit Mortgage Assistance Program, but if you just do a bit of research, a bit of reading, you can tell how disproportionately or proportionally this affects black folks. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It affects us in a grand scale. Just this alone, right? So that was a point from the State of the Union that I wanted to highlight. But listen, people are going to be speculative and say, oh, that sounds good. Where are we going to get money to do this? Even though they never asked where the money is going to come from for overinflated military budgets. They never asked. What the money is going to come from for giving $2 trillion in tax breaks. They never asked. But when it's something that benefits the people, especially minorities, we got questions on where the money is going to come from. Oh, that's just pie in the sky. Oh, you just like Bernie Sanders. You like saying stuff that never gets passed. We're gonna talk about Bernie Sanders a little bit later too. But where's that money gonna come from? It sounds great. $25,000 for people who are struggling. Where's it gonna come from? President got an answer for that too.
You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for those billionaires? No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%. That's far less than the vast majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should pay a lower federal tax rate than a teacher, a sanitation worker, or a nurse. I propose a minimum tax for billionaires of 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next 10 years. And imagine what that could do for America. Imagine a future with affordable child care. Millions of families can get they need to go to work to help grow the economy. Imagine a future with paid leave, because no one should have to choose between working and taking care of their sick family member.
So when you say, Vaughn, where's this money going to come from? I tell you, it's going to come from people paying their fair share of taxes. Then some. These are only the start of the programs. America makes a lot of people filthy rich. A lot of people filthy rich, which is fine. But I see it as, if you are an owner of a corporation, you own a business, or you have an absorbent amount of wealth, you only got two duties. One, to pay the people who work for you a fair and living wage, meaning these people can take what they do and go afford at minimum a 1-bedroom apartment in the city they live in. Two, pay your fair share in taxes. Then run it up. If you are paying your fair share in taxes and you paying your employees fairly, make your bread. Make your bread. But don't dodge the taxes, because all of us suffer. All of us suffer, which was crazy to me, that when Trump got in office, one of his first moves was to give a $2 trillion tax break. $2 trillion. Why don't we get frustrated by that, black folks? American citizens in general, why don't we get frustrated by that? The rich need to pay their fair share. Anybody making over $400,000 ain't paying more in taxes. That's the majority of the country. That's the majority of the country. That is the majority of the country. So, like I said, just do a bit of research about what plans are, who you voting for, what they want to do for you, because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Running as a Republican, to me, from my perspective, it seems like you ain't got to talk about much of shit in terms of helping people. It seems like you ain't got to talk about much of shit. What you offering on healthcare? That's expensive as hell. Everybody in this country, regardless of white, black, gay, straight, whatever, we can all agree that healthcare is crazy expensive. Childcare, crazy expensive. I don't want to tell you how much me and my wife pay a month for daycare for our son. Education, crazy expensive. Food, crazy expensive. Housing, crazy expensive. You running as a Republican, what are you offering to fix that? Nothing. You just running on division and hate. We're going to kick these immigrants out of our country. We're going to stop women's rights to abortions. You gay, I ain't got to serve you. You're not passing policy. You're not talking about, hey, man, yo, I know I know these healthcare costs are a bit out of control. Let's find a way to roll that back. Man, these taxes are hitting us a little hard. Let's find a way to roll that back. Man, these housing costs are high. Let's find a way to help folks. I know you're not making enough on your job. I support you unionizing, getting decent benefits for your family. You don't got to run on none of that. All you got to run on is the other side is doing this and we don't like it, right? Right. That's the difference between the two. That's the difference between the two. You have one side actually trying to pass legislation. Do you know we were 2 votes away? 2 votes away from HBCUs receiving $50 billion? Look it up. 2 votes away. I'm tired of debating on folks about who we should vote for or what we shouldn't vote for or what. We get down to the nitty gritty, but we talk about fiscal policy. It's not even close. It's not even close. I implore you, anybody who's listening to this episode, just do me a favor. Quick Google search. Quick research. Under what party does the economy perform best historically? And if you are a money person, I need you to tell me why you are voting for the opposite. Historically, you want to talk about the deficit being reduced. You want to talk about job creation. You want to talk about stock being up. Overall economy flourishing under what party? Historically. It's not even close. It's the Democrats. You compare Clinton, Obama, and Biden to Reagan, Bush, and Trump. It's night and day. It's night and day. Now, anybody with historical sense can tell you that, right? One side tries to do for the economy, doesn't always deliver on what we need, which is why we organize, which is why we vote, which is why we protest to get what we need. Because like I said, you heard Biden talking about child care. You heard him talking about child care being too expensive. You heard him talking about education. You heard him talking about health care. These are all progressive talking points, by the way. So the folks who say, Bernie Sanders, he just puts out an idea and never gets it done. Listen, it doesn't matter who gets it passed. But one of the best things that Bernie Sanders did was run that campaign in 2016. He mobilized a lot of young voters, myself included. Yeah, no, we shouldn't be paying this much in health care. No, my country should invest in our education. It should. It's common sense. So Bernie putting these ideas out. Hey, I remember in 2015, Democratic candidates wouldn't even get on the stage and say the words Black Lives Matter. Do y'all remember that? They wouldn't even say it. Hillary Clinton wouldn't even say it. Out of fear of backlash, Bernie Sanders took his ass right up there, said the phrase Black Lives Matter, shouted out the importance of what happened to Sandra Bland and others who were harmed by the police. And it started a wave. Oh, now we're talking about it. Now, look, every Democratic candidates talk about it, and they overdo it. We ain't going to talk about them kneeling in kente cloth at the Capitol, Senate floor, whatever. We ain't going to do that. They overdo it. But think about this. An act that they wouldn't dare speak of. Once they realized a lot of us supported it, we can push for this now. Oh, a lot of y'all support women's rights? Oh, we can push for this now. How do you think we got gay marriage? Think about it. You can get what you want if you organize and vote and you have the right ideas. And like I said, a lot of these are just progressive ideas. So Bernie sparking the flame or sowing the seed that gave birth to the thought of change It's fire, regardless if he'll probably never be president. I'm sure he'll never be president. He's not going to run again. He's aging out. But to this day, he is still sharing progressive ideas. Green New Deal. Bernie Sanders, AOC. Canceling all student debt. You hear everybody talking about it now. Right? To this day, he was just earlier this week pushing for a 32-hour work week with no reduction in pay. Because why? Other civilized nations do it. And it works. And their people are a lot happier and not stressed out as much or not struggling as much. These all seem crazy until people actually support it. Because you know what else is coming up. You know what else? You see pushes out of California or even in Evanston, Illinois, not too far from Chicago or other states. That reparations talk. And guess what? You get a lot of people to support that. You never know what's going to happen. So, I digress. We pay for this shit by taxing. Right? The thing is, a lot of the wealthy are going to spread messages. They don't want you to talk about it. They don't want you to bring it up. They're going to spread messages about the administration being out of touch or it being impossible. Don't vote for this guy because he's going to make me spend more of my money than I want to spend. They're going to say he's too old. If he passes away, we're going to have to deal with his cabinet, and his cabinet is too diverse. Y'all heard that shit? Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Biggest podcast in the world, Joe Rogan, right? Y'all heard them statements he made? No? Let's take a listen.
I would vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden, just because I think with Biden, like he's gone. Like, you know, he's gone. You're going to be relying on his cabinet, and I knew his cabinet would be this fucking sideshow of diversity, and which is exactly what it is. You can't have those kind of people running a Ben and Jerry's. You certainly can't have those kind of people running the fucking most powerful government the world's ever known.
Joe Rogan says he will not vote for Joe Biden because he will vote for Trump over Joe Biden, rather, because Biden is old, and if something happens, we will have to depend on his cabinet, who is too diverse. Joe Rogan does not want to vote for Joe Biden because his cabinet is too diverse. That don't sound crazy to y'all? That don't sound crazy? I can't vote for this guy because, you know, he got them Latinos in his cabinet. He got Pete Buttigieg, a gay man in his cabinet. He got a black woman as his vice president, which is, hey, wait.
Aha! Aha!
You don't want to vote for Joe Biden because if something would happen to him, diversity, meaning a black woman would be running the country. And we don't want that, right, Joe? We don't want that. Hey, I know a lot of y'all might be fans of Buddy. I did an episode on him before when he had that N-word controversy. A lot of black folks still, you know, went to bat for him, still supported him. Me, I don't understand. This comment seems incredibly bigoted and incredibly racist. And just so I'm not tripping, let's listen to it one more time.
I would vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden, just because I think with Biden, like he's gone. Like, you know, he's gone. You're going to be relying on his cabinet, and I knew his cabinet would be this fucking sideshow of diversity, and which is exactly what it is. You can't have those kind of people running a Ben and Jerry's. you certainly can't have those kind of people running the fucking most powerful government the world's ever known. It's
those kind of people, those diverse people. Is he mad because Biden has appointed more black women judges than any other president in history? Is he mad because Biden has the first female VP who's also a black woman? Is he? I don't understand. Or do I understand?
Aha! Aha!
There don't want no black folks running this country, man. But you know what? If we're qualified to do so, and we get the votes, come on, baby. What are we really talking about? And that's what I was telling y'all. That's what I was telling you guys. How they try to use this word diversity as a dog whistle. Now you just racist. I told you they was banning books, banning African-American study classes in colleges. Hell, the NAACP in Florida is calling for a ban of black student athletes from going to schools. They want them to boycott. Why? Because Florida schools have ended any programs related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the NAACP says, how can we assure any of these black athletes are taken care of if any program that highlights diversity, equity, and inclusion has been scrapped? It's all shit just all seems like racist dog whistles. And Joe Rogan for a long time has been spearheading that as the most popular podcaster on the planet. He has been spearheading that. Right-wing conspiracy theories, white supremacist talking points. He said the man's cabinet is a shit show of diversity. Would he feel more confident if Biden had an all-white cabinet? I don't get that. I don't get that. It's strange. And it's very strange that Joe Rogan, with all his money and all his influence, said he would still vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. And Donald Trump just made comments like this: warning of a bloodbath if he's not elected president. You know, let's take a look.
Now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
Donald Trump says if he doesn't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the country. You already have folks threatening violence. There's interviews with his supporters threatening violence, saying they're preparing for war. He says it's going to be a bloodbath if he doesn't get reelected, which lets me know he's terrified, by the way, of not getting reelected. Why? I don't know if he's scared of going to prison or maybe he's going to default on the loan that he owed Russia. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is, but I know he's scared. And with all that, with somebody who tried to literally overthrow the government, overthrow the country because he didn't win an election, with somebody doing all that, Joe Rogan and his powerful, popular platform still says he will vote for this man. I'm going to save it for another episode, man, but I'm going to have a story to tell you guys, or a theory that I have about who the real patriots of this country is. Who really loves this country for real? Because it ain't the guys you think. It ain't the guys you think. Putting on your Ray-Bans and driving your pickup truck and having your trucker hat and putting an American flag in your profile does not mean you love this country. Because like anything, if you love it, you should want it to thrive. You should nurture it. You should want it to be at its best ability, right? Anything, whatever you have, whether you have a plant or have a child, you should nurture it, care about it, not harm it, not cause chaos. we're going to have a real discussion real soon about who the real patriots are in this country. Some of us really love this country and are willing to do the work to make sure this shit is a better place. That is what we know. Some of us ain't afraid to speak out. Some of us ain't pompous assholes with hundreds of $millions who could do a world to help unite the country. Instead, they push white supremacist talking points. The former president called for a bloodbath. We've seen this before. He called for violence before. This should be red alarm. I hope this is talking points all week on all major news networks, because it's not generating enough buzz for me. The man called for a bloodbath if he's not elected. Do with that what y'all will, but shit is not a joke. And I know y'all be thinking dude funny and all this shit. Shit not funny, bro. You talk about, oh man, he could do this for black people, do this for black people. Real quick. Last week, just look up at his campaign and see what happened to his minority outreach offices. See if they still around. The people in charge for reaching out to veterans and minorities. See if they still around in this cabinet. They not. They gone. He don't give a fuck. He's not trying to appeal. He doesn't want you to come over there. He just wants you to not vote for that guy. He don't give a fuck about you. I told you last episode. I'm telling you again in this episode. I'm going to be telling you a lot. Stone cold truth. We're going to continue to watch this develop. See what happens. But no, to me, it doesn't, it's not even a question on what side to be on this one. I feel like history is watching. You ever feel that? You ever feel like history was watching? About some important shit about to go down, and you want to make sure you're on the right side? You got to be on the right side of history, baby. So we're going to slow down on the political talk for this episode and navigate to something a little more fun. Is fun the word? Yeah, fun. So we got the playoffs around the corner, right? Building up. Seed and building up, trying to figure out who get in the play-in, who gonna make this seed, what. And you know, this time of year we start talking about MVP. Who you got for MVP? A lot of candidates, man. The usual suspects. Jokic is there. Hearing some Luka. Hearing a bunch of different people. I'm mad my man's Embiid got hurt. Saudi Embiid got hurt because that's my guy. That's my guy, and he was on a tear before he got hurt too, man. But you know, you make a rash decision. I think he was feeling a little bit of pressure from the media about being out and not playing against Jokic, and he always dodges this, and he came back too soon and got injured the next game. But that's neither here nor there because he can't win MVP this year. I ain't gonna lie to you. My pick, as of right now, gotta be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. Gotta be Shai, man. He got them boys rocking. He got them boys rocking. At the time of this recording, number 2 in the West. But you know, and still can be number 1 in the West. But when I look at that roster, I think to myself, who's their second best player? Right? Think about it. What's the average age of that roster? Right? These are a bunch of young boys overperforming. And, you know, kudos to OKC, man. I'm gonna have to give OKC a little round of applause. It's the second time this organization have put together some young boys, and really made some noise. They could legit go to the Western Conference Finals or beyond, depending on how it shake. And Shai is leading the charge on that, man. Averaging about 31 a game, almost 6 boards, 6.3 assists, 64.4 true shooting percentage. The man is ridiculous. Ridiculous. This is probably his best season yet, and he's already had a season when he's finished top 5 in MVP voting. Oh, man, man. You know, what did it for me, what kind of solidified, I don't even know if I want to say this, y'all. God damn it. What kind of solidified it for me this year? Played the Warriors a few times, right? There was one in particular, man, I think he hung 40. And I'm just, like, he going off, man. It's nothing nobody can do to stop him. Nothing. Like, he is killing. He's so herky-jerky and unorthodox, and he gets to the rim, easy layups, and he pulls and creates space with his jumper. And, man, he is killing Steph, man. I think he, like, won the game and, like, tweeted something that was kind of disrespectful, like he went off on Steph. And Steph, my guy, if you know me, Steph is one of my favorite players. And I'm watching this game, I'm like, Steph, you got, I'm like Magic Johnson in that 92 Dream Team documentary, talking to Steph. I'm like, Steph,
you better get him back. You better get him back.
That's all I'm saying. I'm like, Steph, he killing you. Like, he hung 40. And I'm sitting there looking like Magic.
You better get him back. You better get him back.
Steph, you got to get him back. Please. He pulled, and when I seen him cooking like that, and then over just night after night after night, 30 piece, 30 piece, 30 piece, 30 piece. Oh, my God, what are we doing? I can't, like, I feel like I'm watching just a superstar be birthed right before my eyes. And it's a lot of guys that we want to give it to, right? A lot of cats. Ty Halliburton, before the injury, he was looking like he was trending up there. He had a little rough patch. And Edwards right there. Jason Tatum right there. Luka is another one right there. But for me, and obviously Jokic is in the MVP discussion. He's proven himself. He's otherworldly. And I'm not discussing on who the best player is, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't about who the best player is. Best player always doesn't win MVP. If that was the case, Kobe would have more than one, right? Right? Kobe got robbed a year too, right? This ain't about Bean. It's about Shea. We can go into one of my Kobe rants in here, man. It's about Shea killing, leading the young boys, looking reminiscent of that OKC team that went to the finals. The young boys. They got some good building over there, man. Like I said, man, 31 a game, almost 6 boards, 6.4 assists. Second best record in the West, pushing for number 1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is my pick for MVP. Hope you get it, young boy. I definitely hope you get it, because you are more than deserving of it. Last but not least. Isaiah Thomas. Big Zeke. Shout out to the other Isaiah Thomas, who just signed a 10-day with the Suns, by the way. Always want to see that, man. Always trying to grind. Got a salute to not OG Isaiah Thomas, who's just in the G League, signing a 10-day with the Suns. Undersized point guard, a lot of heart. It was lighting up the G League. The Suns need the depth. And he can score the ball. I know he's been out for a few years, but I follow him on social media. You see anytime somebody opens up for a free agent, he right there. Yo, you need some help? You need some help? You need some help? So I think it's fire that he's still willing to go. He signed a 10-day. Now, back to business. OG Zeke, beef with Michael Jordan, as Ed Thomas, who apparently didn't know Michael Jordan and him had beef until the Last Dance doc. A little bit of cap. But anyway, Zeke was on with Draymond Green. Draymond does a phenomenal job, by the way. Draymond Green Show, real good Hoops podcast. He was on with Draymond Green and basically stated that if Kevin Durant didn't go to the Warriors, their legacies would be forever changed. Let's take a listen to what Zeke said.
Let me make a bold statement here.
Yes, sir.
And I hope this don't upset you. Before Kevin Durant arrived in Golden State, y'all were on the verge of and being remembered as the team that went 73-9 and lost to a Cleveland Cavalier team in the finals. You up 3-1, and probably one of the biggest collapse in NBA Finals history. Kevin Durant comes that summer and really saves y'all basketball legacy. You win 2 championships after that. The Golden State Warriors dynasty that you're going to go into the Hall of Fame on and everything else, it is cemented, because if Durant don't come that summer and you guys are remembered as the 73-9 team, all of your legacies are different.
Zeke says if KD doesn't go to the Warriors, the legacies might be changed. Now, in all fairness, I don't know to what degree he's talking about. But Zeke was saying it like, oh, y'all would have just been remembered as a 73-9 team. He even in the video, he was like, y'all was whatever sound he made. He said y'all was trending down. And I want to preface this by saying Zeke is the all-time great point guard, top 5 all-time, knows more basketball, has forgotten more basketball than probably I would ever know, right? But I would say to Zeke, they were 73-9. Did you think they were just not going to run through the league again next year? I would say to Zeke, hey, if Andrew Bogut doesn't have that knee injury and is out, if Steph doesn't have that knee injury and isn't as explosive or can't get past defenders, if Draymond doesn't get suspended, then they probably win 73 games and a chip. Probably. Who knows? But to say that, oh, y'all were just going to fall off. Well, in those 4 years, this team won 73 games. Think about it. They won 73 games. They won a chip before Durant and after Durant. They weren't going to compete for a chip in those 4 years. In that 4-year gap, 2017 to 2021, they wasn't going to compete for a chip. After winning 73 games, it's tons of pieces. Say they didn't get Kevin Durant. Say they got Paul George. And they're making a chip run with Paul George. Say they don't add anybody. I don't know. Bench players step up. We don't know. We don't know what it is. But it's just ludicrous to me for all-time great athlete to say, hey, y'all won 73 games, but that was it. Y'all was going to be trending down. Folks was going to figure out when they went on a run after Durant got there. Y'all didn't have him winning another chip. They won it. Who's to say they wouldn't compete in those 4 years? That's the only point I'm trying to make. I love and respect Zeke. Like I said, he's one of the greatest of all time. However, I just don't think it's that cut and dry to say if Durant doesn't come, your legacies would have been a team that won 73 games and won championship. These guys are too great. Too great. Too great. Certain people just figure it out. That's like when they were saying about Kobe. You'll never win without Shaq. You'll never win without Shaq. Oh, you need Shaq to get those shit. Those are Shaq's rings. You know, you look at Kobe numbers in the series and you're like, it's kind of a 50-50 effort. 51-49 if I want to be generous to you. You'll never win without Shaq, Kobe. You'll never win. Until I do it. Until I do it without another top 75 player all time. No disrespect to Paul Gasol, because that's my guy. Paul Gasol is my guy. But that's Kobe Bryant we talking about. This is an all-time great. Somebody who's going to find a way to get it done. Won 2 chips without Shaq. Got more chips than Shaq. Found a way to get it done. You going to tell me Steph Curry is not going to find a way to get it done with that team and that organization who's willing to spend whatever, and that coach who gives him the freedom to do just about whatever, with another all-time great shooter and another all-time great defender? And they wouldn't compete over the next 4 years, Zeke? You don't think they could get at least 1 chip, maybe 2? You don't think so? I don't know. Kobe Bryant got it done because he was an all-time great. Steph Curry is an all-time great, which is why, Steph, next time, matter of fact, I don't know how it's going to shake out, what seed you're going to end up, but if you end up playing and you end up playing OKC, in that first round, you know what you got to do, Steph?
You better get him back. You better get him back.
You better get him back. That's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Large Picture with Javon Berry. Please remember, always like, share, subscribe across all socials. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to be back to talk more hoops, more politics, more culture, because that's just how we get down. Have a great day.